of like I don't get drunk
It
anymore.
is. It's like the old cartoons with like the angel on one shoulder and the devil and.
All right.
So back?
We're back.
And
But
we're back.
And we're back. But we're really back.
Do you like
If
that?
you like classic cars, then
those
Donald.
shows used to call the office like that and be like, "Hello, it's Sue. I need to talk to so and so," and I'd be like, "What? It's 6 a.m. here."
You were doing Jay Leno's Garage, right?
I was indeed. And
Yes.
we're back.
And we're back
Oh, I love
with Donald Osborne, your
Such-
favorite,
Oh, I love that.
Mr. Bowtie.
car nerds we are.
All right, so I'll take the hit on this one. We're back. Thanks for coming back. We just did a 90-minute podcast with our friend TORY Alonzo over here, and there was no audio. So we're doing it again. Welcome. TORY Alonzo.
It's so good to be back, you guys.
We had
I
no
feel like
intention.
it's been forever.
We had no intention for the folks at home. We had no intention of having a guest this early in our run of the podcast. However, TORY is in town for the Porsche Effect at the Peterson tonight, big event.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And so we said, why don't you come over here and hang out for a little bit first? Tell us about what's going on tonight and everything, and then we'll just kind of see where it goes, which is what we did last time. And let's try that again.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You're in town.
I am.
First of all, VDubber for life on Instagram. We should cover that first because
Thanks, man.
your Instagram your photos are sick, but what
Thanks.
you stand for is pretty awesome too. And I think that's why we're kind of all
Yeah, we're kind of
kindred.
like-minded in that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think good energy begots good energy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what drew me to you guys. I love your story. You guys are so inspirational, and just it's nice to wake up in the morning and scroll through your feed and like see positivity as opposed to a bunch of duck face selfies. Yeah, not attractive, not a good look.
Yeah.
Why did we start doing that? It's a girl thing. Why did we start doing it? It's
Oh,
not
I've seen
hot.
guys with some duck face selfies.
Really?
Not
Did
a
they
lot,
start doing
but-
it? Oh, that's weird.
I've
is
done
weird.
Yeah, I've done it. I'm not proud of it. Before it was known as a thing.
I might post one tonight from the Peterson. Just
I think that
really
we
hope
should.
you do.
I think we should all do that. Yeah, that
do
might be
that.
a heck of an idea.
Yeah.
Do you need a refill on your coffee there?
I'm good, man.
We didn't go. So you were so nice, brought us all these coffees for the podcast, and
all
we
good.
drank them on the podcast. Now here we are.
Hour and a half ago. It's all good, man. No,
All
I'm
right,
stoked
so-
about tonight. I think it's going to be a great time.
You were saying Spike is going to be there. Spike's doing. what
Yeah,
were you
everybody
saying
loves
before?
Spike Ferriston. He's
Yeah.
going to be there. He's going to be talking on a panel with, I think, Tommy Kendall, and I don't know if Jeff Swart's going to be there, but I'm sure it'll be a who's who of Porschephiles. Hopefully,
have to
Magnus
imagine.
makes his way out there, and I don't know who else is going to be in town. I would think Rod Emery would be out there. Love him.
Yeah. Well, the Le Mans car is going to be there.
Yep,
Right?
yep. Yeah, actually, if anyone's listening, they I'm sure followed the restoration of the 356 SL that was essentially Porsche's first race car or
Yeah.
first works car. It was the lightweight 356 that was campaigned for years by I think his name was Chuck Forge. Raced it like at the Laguna Seca Monterey National or Monterey Historics,
And this is when it was a.
chop
Did
top
we
like
kinda
roadster.
We kind of said it was like the first outlaw, sort of, right?
Absolutely, I would definitely consider this car the first outlaw. Yeah, for sure. It's it's lightweight. It's built for function, and wasn't really like anything else out on the road.
But I mean, it was a race car that somebody chopped the freaking roof off
Oh
of,
my
right?
God! Oh my yeah. I mean, he just lightened it up. And actually, Johnny von Neumann, who owned the Competition Motors on Vine Street in
Competition Motors.
Yeah,
I know we're
love
going to get
that.
into that. Thanks
Yeah,
to
we
the,
will.
The clothing I'm wearing and that you're
Shout
not
out to
today.
Dwight. Yeah.
Only, only because you didn't want it to be a commercial.
I didn't want us to look like Twinkies because I knew if I wore my Carpe gear, you'd be in yours too. But
sure.
yeah, Dwight, I was rocking mine all over LA yesterday and got tons of compliments on it. But yeah, so Johnny von Neumann owned this car, and it passed through a few more hands after time, and it was basically a race car its whole life, from Porsche and Le Mans to all these historic tracks around California, and then I believe it went to a new owner after Chuck passed away.
Okay.
And Rod Emery was contacted to restore the car, and they had to like do crazy research to figure out what the roof line was like.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I mean, they basically had to build this thing from scratch, as far as like the roof and everything else, just to nail the details.
Luckily, there's a lot of material on it, to see how they did it.
There
and all that
is.
stuff. I think he was on Jay Leno's Garage with it as well.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, that's great. And then
Fantastic car, and it's going to be there, and I've never seen it in person, so I'm super stoked to see that tonight.
this is your first time
ever to see the car in person.
We saw it at Luftgekühlt, I think.
Right, and I didn't get to, I was kind of late to the Luftgekühlt thing. I'm going to come this year.
Oh,
hopefully.
good.
Yeah,
Good.
I'll be back out for that.
So plan on coming back.
You know it.
We'll do our 3rd/2nd podcast.
Yep. Exactly. No, it's
So
what's
it's a
happening
who's
in
who
the pool.
tonight, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know why I'm going, but
Bullshit.
Yuck,
Bullshit. So if anybody doesn't, nobody knows any of us. So I'm going to say that if you don't know Tori's Instagram, V-Dubbers for Life, I think, should we talk about Herbie first, maybe?
Yeah,
because
whatever.
is that what got you into it?
Actually, yeah. So to come full circle, like when I was a kid, that's kind of what cemented me as a car person. I loved the old Herbie movies. For a lot of people in other generations, it was maybe Back to the Future or Ghostbusters or whatever else. There's always like some cool movie car that, really gets your blood going as a kid and kind of cements you as a car person. And for me, it was Herbie. I've always loved Herbie. I always thought it was cool. And I
53.
And I can identify with the concept of an underdog. I mean, I was a scrawny kid. I always got picked last for sports teams, and
In Texas, that's
almost
gotta
glad
be.
we're
oh,
redoing
it's
this.
terrible. Like that was actually I went to the high school that Friday Night Lights is about.
Come on.
Yeah, no, I swear
The actual school.
Odessa Permian.
And you're a
high
scrawny
school.
nerd. Like,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
don't
and
work
your
there.
life is hell. I didn't exist. It
Oh
was
my God.
terrible. Yeah. So I mean, that whole thing about like the whipped cream and the cheerleaders and stuff, that probably happens.
I don't know what
but
you're talking about.
I never
Describe
saw
Varsity
it.
Blue.
I never
Describe
saw-
it.
Oh.
You never saw Varsity Blues?
Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah. But so I totally identified with the whole character of an underdog. And
Pretty sure it was Allie Larder.
Yeah, you're right. But she was in that movie. She was foreign. And I just heard her name
I think she would have rather
yesterday.
seen Shannon Elizabeth.
Oh, it could be. Well, American Pie.
A photographer
Oh,
told
Jim,
me
you're
I
here.
looked like her once, and I took it as a
lot of
high
whipped
compliment.
cream. So that's what kind of got me down the whole path of being into cars and
At
so,
a
yeah.
really early age, too.
super early age. Yeah, that was the first movie I recall seeing as a child.
Yeah.
I had to have been like 3 years old.
That's probably similar. We figured out before we're almost the same age, and that probably was my first car movie as well. Although Dukes of Hazzard at the time
Oh, I love
was
that.
huge
Oh, I
because
had
I
all
was,
those.
as a kid, yeah.
All the
so
toys.
not cool to be a Dukes of Hazzard fan anymore.
Kind of racist if you're a Dukes of Hazzard fan.
But you know what's funny? You're right in that
It has to be a guilty pleasure. It's kind of like locked away and you don't talk about it in public. But
Is the new one still racist? Like, can I be a fan of that one
Here's-
even though it's horrible acting?
well,
Sorry.
technically, I think the Confederate flag was still on the Johnny Knoxville Virgin, so that would make you racist. if
you're
like
right,
that.
but they made a lot of references to it.
yes, they did.
Like they got in trouble quite a bit because
so
of
if
it.
you make a
they
joke
were-
about it, then it's okay.
I don't know. What I was
know.
going to
How's that
say
work?
is that the issue with the Dukes of Hazzard for me, the old show in the
Mm-hmm.
70s and 80s, we rewatched a couple episodes because we wanted to watch the Johnny Knoxville movie, and I wanted to at
Right.
least know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it's based, where it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
from. So I think we watched like the first and then, maybe 10th episode or something like that.
Right.
But what I got from it was what I remembered as a kid, which the Duke boys ain't racist.
No,
The
not at
Duke
all.
boys
They're just
are
good old, just
people
good
who
old
want to
boys.
help other people.
Yes.
If anything, they're communists. Like I could say that. I could.
Yeah.
Oh, you're pissed off because they're Robin Hood. Like I'll
Right.
give you that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not capitalist.
They were the Bernie Sanders of their time.
There you go. There you go. I like it. It's not
Just
it's
saying.
not horribly untrue. But what they weren't is racist, and
I agree.
they were always like the good friend who may or may not have had a name in whatever episode was always the guy they could count on. Happened to be like the black guy.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, it was, all right, there's Cooter, and then there's this guy who's the fucking best guy, and he's our best friend, and we love him.
Yep.
And he's black.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's weird, this whole political correctness thing that's going on, because I feel like
I shouldn't have said black twice there, I
I
bet.
feel like now you're sounding racist, man.
I don't want to be.
I feel like the pendulum is like swinging the whole opposite way with stuff. It's a weird thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, but
Hopefully it levels out.
it's so. I mean, there's a reason to be sensitive. What with the current political climate, etc. I mean,
There is.
I get all of it. I don't.
There is.
Whatever. I don't know. It's a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
Dukes of
agree.
Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard, Herbie. Herbie wasn't racist.
Did you? I said a little bit of this before too, and I'm gonna stop with that. But would you have noticed the Herbie influence on Yellow Car without me pointing it out to you?
Oh, absolutely. That's,
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, it's
big
not...
old gumball on the door and numbers, and it's cool, man. It's a race car on the street.
That was the gist of it, yeah. And it just...
Cool.
If anybody knows the story of Herbie, this car kind of... It picked its owner in a weird way. The guy bought it, but the car changed the owner's life and changed what was important. It's just kind of everything shifted.
And how is that like?
That's what I'm saying.
That's you guys.
It's what happened to
so
us.
So cool. Like,
yeah,
you have your own like real life Herbie.
That's
Except
what I
Herbie's
was.
a Porsche.
Fine,
which is cool.
No problem there.
A bright yellow one.
Did you know that the original Herbie that did all of the high-speed scenes actually had Porsche running gear?
No, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
I heard they had
kind of
350
cool.
brakes and stuff.
All that,
right?
yeah. And they ran out at Riverside Raceway, and like that was not like trickery. It was that car really hauled ass.
Wow, that's so
pretty cool. Yeah, it's neat. There's all kinds of weird like movie references. Like I can bring it full circle with like Bill Hickman, who was one of the stunt coordinators for the Love Bug, was the guy that was holding James Dean when he took his last breath.
Come on.
Yes, if you see the pictures, like at Sherman Oaks up the street, at the last fuel stop or whatever before they leave L.A.
Yeah, at the gas station.
Bill Hickman is the guy that was driving the station wagon with the empty trailer that the Spider was supposed to be on.
Supposed to be on. He wasn't
Crazy
supposed to
stuff.
drive it.
But I mean, it was such a small circle back then. Max Balchowski, who owned a really famous and raced and campaigned a famous race car called Old Yeller, was one of the stunt coordinators and Buddy Hackett's stunt double for the Love Bug.
No kidding.
Kerry Lofton. He was one of the drivers in Bullet that did all of the choreographing for that famous scene in San Francisco with the car chase. He was the guy that drove Herbie in Riverside. I mean, all these guys were like doing the same thing in this little tiny industry back then. It's so cool. And a lot of people don't realize how significant these guys were that worked on Herbie. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's
very cool.
I have a good friend, Jason Torchinsky, who writes for Jalopnik. Mm-hmm. And he was actually in a documentary I helped produce. And it's called The Bug, Life and Times of the People's Car.
Yeah, like a year ago.
A year or two ago. I think it's been out maybe a year now. Okay. And get on Amazon, wherever.
iTunes?
iTunes, I believe it's on
cool.
as well. Yep. And he talks about how The Love Bug, the original, back in the 1969, is one of the best car movies out there. Yeah. And it really is. I mean, the
so
cars,
much heart.
Oh, it is. And it's very true to form of sports car racing in the 1960s. And it's a great film. So if you haven't seen it, check it out.
The original or your doc?
Both.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Why not?
I was going to say. I wonder how many people have watched we did watch the original Love Bug maybe a year or so ago, and it was slower than I remembered. It was.
It's a different. It's a different time.
Yeah,
but
it's a great vacation. Just kind of go on a ride.
Yeah, it is.
You mentioned Bullet really quick. Bullet is back in the news. Yeah. For God's sake.
How funny is that for decades, neither of these cars no one knows the whereabouts of them, and just in the last maybe 3 months, both cars have been found. One in Mexico, it was in a junkyard that was now is being restored, and then most recently the hero car that Steve McQueen tried for years to buy back. I think that's crazy.
See, I didn't know
Pretty
any
wild.
of that.
Yeah.
I think that's a
lot
cool
of weird
story
movie
itself.
car stuff coming out just recently.
And that was new as of like the Detroit Auto Show is when they.
That's when they debuted it. Like
the new Mustang.
It had been in the works, but yeah, they wanted to. Apparently, Ford got in with it. And a good friend of mine, Mark Gessler, who heads up the HVA, the Historic Vehicle Association, I love what he does too. He documents and they preserve. It's basically a national registry, like what they have for houses, but for cars. That's what he's doing now. So like all of these historically significant cars, I think there's like maybe 25 or 26
so
cars
that we don't lose
now.
them again. Is that the idea?
Yeah, basically and just
show almost becoming public assets because of it.
Show the significance of the car, and they register it with the Department of the Interior, I think.
Holy shit,
dude! It's an official deal. They like take the car to their lab in Virginia, I think it is, and scan the car, and all of these archives are put in a file, and it's pretty cool. So Bullet is the most recent car to get nominated for that list.
Kidding.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That's
that is
really
fascinating.
Cool.
Neat stuff.
It's like a national landmark status, basically.
Right. Yep.
That's really cool.
Absolutely. Yep.
Holy
I will
moly.
go on record as saying Bullet is a terrible movie, though.
Who's in that one?
Steve McQueen.
Yeah. I mean, Le Mans, same thing.
Oh my God, I couldn't even get through that movie. It's terrible.
What's your favorite Steve McQueen movie? Do you have one?
I don't have one because honestly, I'm a Paul Newman guy.
Sure.
I'm on the Paul Newman, James Garner camp. I'm not a huge fan of Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
I get that the bad boy.
You might be shot tonight, though. I hope we won't release this till later.
I know, right? Well, I think his Speedster is actually on display.
Yeah, I believe so.
I believe Bruce Meyer owned at one point.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's
actually, he may still.
Oh, okay.
He may still actually own it.
For some reason,
which would
I thought
explain
it went
why
back
it's
to the
at
family.
Peterson, because he's on the board. Bruce, who I've not met. I hope to meet Bruce tonight. I really respect him as a collector, and
he's another one you can talk to.
Yeah, fantastic guy.
You are so knowledgeable, so versed, and so fucking personable.
Well, thank you. I
don't know.
that.
I mean, you shouldn't be worried about talking to any of these people.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. I look up to a lot of these guys, so maybe I get a little, I'm not really fazed by celebrities, but then I get around someone like, a car guy, and I'm like, I really respect this guy. Like, I'll probably geek out around Rod Emery tonight or someone like that. But, I have so much respect for guys like this that are, kind of taking the reins of the Porsche hobby and taking it to that next level. I think that's really cool. I like it. And I'm a history guy. Like, anyone that's preserving history and, restoring these cars, like, I can get with that. That's really cool.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's one of my favorite things.
Restored or preserved, anyway. Preserve restoration, one of the original screen-used Turbies.
I did.
But just recently, you have gotten into the Porsche game.
I have. I made the jump to the Porsche thing, which is kind of a natural progression. It's weird. Like,
so what'd you get? A 914, 996? What'd you get?
I got a 356.
Okie doke.
It's not like it's not an A. It's not a Speedster.
I just wanted to make sure we were all clear on that you jumped in big time.
Oh, it's junky and whatever else, but it's my 356. It'll be cool. I'm not gonna restore it. I'm just doing a mechanical restoration on it. Fabulous. The car hasn't run since the 80s, and here's what a small circle this is. This is so weird. So I found this car for sale on the internet. Luckily, I was one of the first people to jump on it. She started getting crazy offers for the car. So the history behind the car is I bought it from this guy's granddaughter. She inherited the car from her grandfather, who sadly passed away last June, I believe. Okay. So Bree, if you're out there listening, thank you for the 356. But she,
it'll live on. It'll live on.
It will.
The grandfather's spirit will live on.
And here's where it got crazy. So I called her pretty right away as far as the ad got listed and everything. I was one of the first people to contact her. And her phone is blowing up, dude. Like, I can tell, like, as I'm talking to her, like, it's clicking and, like, people are trying. She's like, I don't know what to do. She's like, my phone is going crazy. I was like, well,
she didn't anticipate any of that, right?
She didn't. She didn't. She had no idea.
Calls from all over the world.
Porsche market's
probably.
like crazy. Yeah, exactly. And so I said, well, look, here's my number. I said, I want to know more about your grandfather, who the guy was, what, this was his car, his pride and joy. I was like, I'd love to know more about it. She's like, I'm overwhelmed right now. Let me call you back. So her husband calls me back later that night, which he also has a weird Porsche connection. His dad was the race mechanic for Vasek Polak Porsche.
Come on.
Dude,
they're up there with competition.
I know, right? So,
holy cow.
So he starts sending me pictures of his dad with...
These are the license plates that are like $1,000
Yeah,
if you go to the lit
oh,
meet
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. So he starts sending me pictures of his dad with Ferry Porsche at these Porsche meetings, and he would go to these, races with Vasek Polak, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Like all of these, things. So... Long story short, people were offering her $10,000 and $15,000 over her asking price just to get this car. And she was like, you know what? She said, it's not about the money. My husband and I talked about it last night. Nice. We think you're the person for the car because you're not a flipper. You're going to keep the car. It's been a dream of yours.
Quite possibly forever.
I will. I'll never sell this car. Right. It's that special to me, and I want to keep this car as her grandfather had it.
What Seinfeld's dead guy car, right? Is that what he calls them? It's a dead guy car.
Yeah,
I got this car because a guy died, and dude, nobody else is going to get it until I die.
Tell you what, like I have a lot of dead guy cars. I have a 55 oval window Beetle that used to belong to a Corsair pilot from World War II.
Whoa.
And this guy,
that's right up your alley too.
Oh, that is too. It checks all the boxes. But so this is how this is so weird. So I get the car. I get all the service records for it. She's got a stack of paperwork with it, so I knew everything that was done. It did have an engine swap at one point, so I believe it's got a 912 motor in it, which I'm told is a better engine anyway. But it's not a numbers matching car. It's had a color change. I don't care. It's a 356.
Yeah.
It's never gonna win a Concours show. I'm okay. Well,
I'm
gonna drive the shit out of it,
and you're gonna tool it up anyway, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I've already got exhaust on it and stuff like that. So it'll be a cool car. So I'm going through the paperwork, and there's a bill of sale for for this engine that was swapped out back in the early 80s. And the name sounded so familiar. It was Sam Cabiglio, and I Googled the name. And Sam is a guy that was buying Porsches for Jerry back in the 90s and like kind of overseeing his collection.
It's his
We're
son.
Instagram
Yeah,
friends
his
with
son.
his
Yeah,
son.
his son now.
Who
So I
works on the show and I think takes care of the cars or
Right.
something. Yeah.
So I messaged that to Spike Ferriston,
Hilarious.
and Spike, messaged that on to Sam, and Sam remembered selling this motor. He's like, there's a good chance he may have actually sold the car at one point too.
How
like,
cool is that?
What a weird small circle though this is. It's
It is.
very incestual.
There's only so many cars. They only
There
made so
is,
many.
Yeah.
The world's only so big.
You know what's crazy? So I've been in LA for almost 48 hours now. I have not seen one early 356 Porsche on the road yet. Not one.
Where you been?
All over.
Brentwood.
The Boo.
Oh, well, yeah, Malibu would be the place.
Right?
Yeah, you probably
Weekends.
I've seen some
Yeah.
VWs tooling around, but not any early Porsche stuff.
What is it, Thursday?
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. For
Yeah,
sure.
you'll see it
Yeah,
soon.
probably so.
People
when-
are at work and shit.
How long are you in town?
Yeah.
I leave tomorrow, so I will not
So
see
just-
my
Next time.
elusive 350. I'll see plenty of them tonight.
Just
It's all
for the
good.
event tonight, yeah.
I'll see them tonight. They won't be running, but it's all good. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most? Like, why did you want to come to this?
I love the Peterson. It's a
Yeah.
fantastic museum. I was there for the Bugatti exhibit that they did. It
Cool.
was just breathtaking. I couldn't tell you anything about Bugattis.
Sure.
I know they're cool. I know I'll never be able to afford one, but
Don't say that.
they're cool to
You
look at.
may never want one, but-
exactly. I like the German stuff.
I tend to.
I think Bugattis
It's a Volkswagen,
are German,
isn't it?
aren't
It's
they?
a Volkswagen, right?
Yeah, I like the Volkswagen stuff. But no, it's a cool scene. The Peterson's pretty fantastic, and the Porsche thing. And I figure there's gonna be a lot of people there that I look up to. Hopefully
Yeah.
that I can, at least get a chance to shake their hands and talk to them. And
So cool. Take some
yeah,
pictures
should
for
be fun.
Instagram.
You know it. Yeah, that'll be my material for the next month.
Your feed is awesome.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I
I dig yours too. You get to do all these cool things that we don't have in Pennsylvania, like these mountain runs and
we're lucky on that regard.
going up to Angeles Crest. And I'm like rubbernecking all over LA. The last couple days, just looking at all the cool cars on the road that are
Just
stuff
cars
you
on the
don't
street,
see. Just
yeah.
cars in general, not necessarily Porsches or VWs. Just cool stuff that you don't see every day, man. People are still using that as like daily transportation here.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Like everything that was cool is rusted away 30 years ago in Pennsylvania. And anything anyone cares about, is like I've got a Beck 550 Spider, and that thing's
cool.
up on rollers right now, and it kills me to go out in the garage and look at it and know that I can't drive it.
What do you need?
because-
Oh, because the winter, you mean?
Yeah,
Of
I
course,
put
yeah.
anything I care about, I put away in the winter because they salt the roads up there. So
Yep.
if you care about your car and you don't want to rust away in 2 years, you don't drive it.
Yeah.
So my daily driver is a really boring Mazda 3.
I don't remember when we did. You're outside of Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, I'm about an hour north of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the car culture like there?
It is
Because
amazing.
I've been to like Kings of Prussia and stuff in Philly and stuff.
Right,
And they've got
yeah.
some crazy car meets there.
So it's actually really good. Every year we have what's called the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, and it is unreal. Like the level of cars that come out. We have a really good Cars and Coffee in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I took my Beck there probably 5-6 months ago.
Okay.
And it was a 4-cam Carrera Speedster that showed up. Original. Like,
Wow.
I mean, legit numbers matching car. I mean, 7-figure car all day long, probably. A beautiful car. And so, yeah, there's stuff that will surprise you. A lot of one-off stuff. I had no idea that the car culture there would be so good. But
Well, that's cool.
still pales in comparison to LA, though. I mean, this is
We're
pretty much the
lucky.
epicenter of it, dude.
You're
lucky.
we're lucky here, and we're really centrally located here.
You're like a stone's throw to like Rod Emery's shop and Lino's
literally,
shop.
yeah,
and
quite
Adam
literally.
Carolla's right over there, and I mean it's
Rod
insane,
lives a couple
dude.
blocks away, and the shop's a couple blocks further.
It's insane.
Yeah, Jay Leno's garage is right up at the airport.
You're right in the thick of
Singer,
it, man.
did you mention
Yeah,
Singer? That's
yeah,
right around the corner.
they're all there. It's really cool, man. So
Gosh.
you get to see this stuff on a daily basis. So
Yeah, we moved here for the studios.
jealous.
And
Moved here
then-
for the studios and stayed for the cars.
Yeah, well, I mean, moved over to this area. We were in Venice for like 10 years.
Right.
And we moved over here to be close to the studios. But what it ended up doing was making us really freeway friendly, which is one, which Venice is not.
Right.
And just really centrally located. So all of a sudden, like we started doing this breakfast club up at Newcomb's Ranch on Friday mornings.
Which I'm always jealous when I see pictures.
That's why I was asking.
so
when
wanna
you
be a
were,
part of the
That's
breakfast
why I was
club.
asking. There's enough Porsches in this neighborhood going there that you could certainly have a ride.
Amazing.
But
take
yeah,
you
we
up on
do
that.
we do stuff like that, and we're at the base of the crest in 15 minutes
That's nuts.
during 8 a.m. rush hour traffic.
Jeez.
15 minutes. We're at the base of the crest, and then no traffic after that.
That's nuts.
It's just an awesome ride on to breakfast.
You know, I drove
Fresh
up there
air,
once.
nature.
Oh yeah, I drove up there once because a lot of the Herbie scenes were filmed up in Angeles Crest. It's amazing how few
all the
cars are up
mountain
there.
roads, yeah, of course.
That's where everything was filmed, was up there.
For like Monte Carlo and stuff.
And the Love Bug.
Oh, and the Love Bug, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tahunga Canyon. They did a bunch of stuff up there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty cool. And
awesome.
it's just amazing, like, how nobody takes advantage of that. Like, you see, you know, random sports cars up there, but I figure I had, you know, visions of it being bumper to bumper and people going. It's not that way at all.
Yeah, the 405's like that. I mean, the streets are like that.
Right.
But
yeah,
if you get out to some driving
once you
roads,
get up to some cool, you know, canyon or whatever, it's empty. There's nobody up there. It's
Yeah.
so cool.
yeah, especially if you can go midday or like the Friday morning thing is so awesome.
Be all over that. I would be all over that.
Well, you're coming back in April
Absolutely.
for
Lufka right?
and we'll just work that in somehow.
I'm down. I am down.
Well,
I
that's
fly
cool.
for free, so
Yeah, that's right. So you're a flight attendant.
I am a flight attendant.
Did
yeah,
not
that's
know
my
that.
that's my real job.
How do you have
Yeah.
time for all of your awesome hobbies?
That's why I love my job, because it affords me so much time off. Because
Do you
we
get to make your own
typically-
schedule?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
It's all
wow.
flexible. Like I can, you know, typically when we get a schedule, we will fly 3 days on and then we're off 4 days. But you can stack your trips together. So I'll work 6 days straight and then be off for 2 weeks. And so it
Did you know
works
that?
out great. It's pretty fantastic. Yeah,
tip.
it's cool. I've been doing it 16 years now.
Holy shit!
That's a long time.
I know, right?
Yeah, but good for you with pension and everything else. With
Yeah,
the
dude,
airline?
I'm kind of committed with the pay scale now. So yeah, I love it though. It's
That's
cool.
fabulous.
And it's really nice, like, you know, being a car guy and having that job, like, it opens up a lot of doors.
You can
like,
be a nomad, you can go wherever.
Absolutely.
You
Like,
wanna come to LA for the
Lufka
thing?
Cool's here? Yeah, let me hop on this flight. It cost me nothing.
because
Like,
it's just the time to get there.
yeah. I mean, I bought VWs that I've gone to look at first, you know, just hopping on a flight. And I'm sure these people think I'm a baller because they're like, oh, he's going to fly out just to look at this $1,500 car. I've got him, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost me a thing.
Oh, my
And if it's a piece of
gosh.
shit, then I turn around and just go right back to Pittsburgh. So
That's a riot.
That's like a secret job I wanted that I didn't ever pursue, but I certainly in my like.
it's pretty fantastic. I could write
If
a
I could.
book with
I
the
hope you
stories
do.
that I've seen and experienced and whatever
That's
else.
part of why I
Like,
loved it. I love the stories of
Oh.
humanity, like secret, like not secret, but people act weird when they travel. They act like they
Oh,
think
yeah.
they're alone,
Oh, yeah.
and that's when you get the best stories.
That's
is
true.
When people are
You're right about
off.
that. People are just doing their own thing, but
Dude,
they're
you
in
would-
public. People are acting private, but they're in public
You
on an
would
airplane.
never,
Yeah.
you would never eat off a tray table again if I told you some of the stuff I've seen.
I can't even imagine.
No.
We'll save that for another podcast.
It really, you can't say anything worse than what I'm already imagining.
Oh, it's terrible.
You know what I mean? Unless you say like
take
fucking nuclear waste or something. I'm
take-
already picturing shit and piss and vomit and everything else. Semen.
Yeah.
What else?
All right, you nailed it. All right, we're good.
I mean, what else could it be? It's all the stuff. All the stuff you don't want.
Yeah, but I'm really prudish about stuff like that. Like,
6 months working at the airline will. cure
yeah,
you of
that'll
that.
get it.
You probably
Really
get over
fast.
every kind of germaphobe type thing ever.
I
right?
well, I think it builds up your immunity for
Yeah.
sure because
Yeah.
I'm exposed to all this nastiness all day long.
Better than a
but,
kindergarten teacher.
yeah, but
Wow.
but it's still fun. Like I mean, fun days and not fun days. You take
Dude, and
the
it
good with the
affords your
bad.
hobbies.
It does.
And your
It
life.
does. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't mess with the cars and do the stuff I've done if I had like a regular 9 to 5 job. No
Right.
way. So it's
Just
cool.
even
It's a-
taking the time to go look for cars and stuff.
Yeah.
Like all your hunting that you do, you wouldn't be able to do if you were
Yeah.
sitting in an office.
I could, but I'd be $40,000 in debt. You know, buying plane tickets. So it's cool. I dig it, man. I'm all about it.
I love that you've done it for so long. I thought
I
like
have.
maybe 2 years or something.
16.
Like, that's a great run.
Career stewardess.
You met my friend, the male nurse.
It's all good, man.
We watched the. Did you ever see the movie The Yes Man? Speaking of like positivity and all that stuff,
No.
the Jim Carrey movie.
I'll follow it up with a big no.
I would recommend it. It's not like the best movie or anything, but the message is really awesome. Just
I
kind
like-
of like say yes to life, etc.
I like good messages.
But yeah, there's a. I made a reference that would have been gotten had you seen it. So you should see it just so you get that.
So
reference.
2 months from now, I'll randomly be in my living room. I get it. Jay, you're a crazy
You're
guy.
gonna have to play the podcast back and compare the two, and then backwards and the whole bit.
The first one or the second one that we recorded?
Oh my God, I'm humiliated. I'm already
Okay.
vulnerable,
Good one.
humiliated. I'm still looking at the levels. We're
I really
still good
was
here.
like for a minute quite surprised that you were so even keeled about it, but I'm glad to know it still lives in your psyche. and
I
you're
could talk to you guys all day
ripping it
long. I
up.
feel like I've known you all my life. It's weird.
We shut it off after an hour and 15 last time, not because we were done talking. It was just because it was like, well, how long is this going to, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not fair to make people listen to all this.
Everyone's like in the parking lot, like, dude, I'm at work. Like,
Yeah, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, B.
That just means they're enjoying it, guys.
Yes.
Calm the F down.
Exactly.
You're helping with that. Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you. That's just, I mean, I need that because I don't know any better. So thank you.
I do have to say I like the female perspective of your podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You
you
are
need to
very
talk
much the yin and yang here.
I talk all the time.
And I think that's cool because I think a lot of podcasts are like one-sided. You have one mic, and it's like, you know, you just listen to that. One mic, one guest, and they typically, you know.
I am interested in that if the person who is speaking, I already find them credible. If they're
That makes
credible to
sense.
me,
Yeah.
then I can listen because I'm learning, and then I'll just take that information in.
Totally.
But if it's just some guy
Right.
on YouTube that I don't know, but if it's me that you don't know, like if somebody doesn't know us, I don't know how anyone finds it palatable.
Yeah. And these people are making money on YouTube. That's what makes me sick.
Money, that's almost too small a word.
It's ridiculous.
We watch some of the gamer guys who like they
PewDiePie and these
Maybe.
reviewers and stuff.
That's what
Oh
we
my
get
God.
through Casey Neistat is basically how we find almost anybody. But yeah, he'll go travel to some other place, call it Phoenix, Arizona, and he'll go into some bawling house that has just been built. And you go down into the basement, and it's basically a sweatshop of like 20 gamers in their little studio setups, and they're just
Unreal.
playing the games on the thing. And when I say a sweatshop, I mean they're all making
Oh, yeah.
high six figures probably,
And
just
happy,
doing this
not
shit.
like
and
a
having a
kid's
blast because
sweatshop,
they're doing what they
like-
want to do.
Hell
Right.
yeah. Who wouldn't be happy getting paid
I
to
just
play
talked
video
about
games
this
all
with
day?
my friend. Totally. I just talked about this with Cheryl the other day. Hi, Cheryl. I have this great friend I love, and she's got two younger, like teenage boys who are into all the games. And I was telling her, because I'm not a gamer by any means, and I don't have the coordinate, whatever. What I was telling her was that Jay has me play Grand Theft Auto because it makes my brain work with
Right.
my body.
Right.
No joke. We worked her up to it with simple video games up to it, but I'm trying to.
Did you like start her
Build-
out with like Atari?
No,
Like,
but
all
like
right,
the
let's start you out at
the
Pong. Let's do Pong.
the 2-dimensional ones like the you know the whatever the trials like the
Right,
bike and all
right.
stuff like that. But basically for hand-eye coordination
Honey,
because
I
it
think,
helps her.
I think you're ready for classic Nintendo.
Yo,
Let's
is
try
it-
Duck Hunt.
It was a big. I love that. I probably couldn't aim for shit now, which is actually ironic. But I brought it up to Cheryl because I find it hilarious that you're like, no, Grand Theft Auto. Like, I live a dude's life now by default, but
I
it
don't.
helps
But to be
me-
clear, like we had to download the game. It's not like we have Grand Theft Auto. We just play it all the time.
Right.
Like we downloaded it for this
Oh, yeah.
purpose.
Right.
Yeah, but I am just so blown away by like it's a whole new world, and I'm like, do you know that they have people that commentate on it? Like you can watch people play.
It's insane.
Because it's
The
a
games?
sim world. She used to play The Sims all the time.
Oh, I
so
love The
this
Sims.
all
Yeah,
of a
that's
sudden is
fantastic.
like, whoa, fully immersive, fully
Yep.
interactive 3D Sims.
Yep.
And I thought she would like that. So please.
Well, no, I just think it's crazy that it's a whole other world that these people watch and play and like.
Did you do like
know
the
everyone.
online play, or do you
No.
just do like the one person like?
Here's the deal.
Just the one- the-
This is as social as I get, so I don't need to like be friends with people who are playing the game who are in my ear being like,
Right.
"Yo, go over."
Getting your ass kicked by some 9-year-old in Dubai.
I have a hard
badly,
enough
too.
time
Yeah.
making the remote move where I want it
Right,
to.
right.
That like if some kid.
Oh, you just
who-
keep respawning. Like if you ever played like Call of
I
Duty, like
would.
give me a chance.
Well, that's
Let
why
me
I
take shelter
my head would blow up. Like my friends who I love are
on the
like,
game and in real life.
Well, yeah, because it's too much. My friend who I love are like, oh, just text me whenever. I'm like, no. See, here's the
Yeah.
thing. I don't have an off switch, which he tells me all the time.
Right.
Because once I'm connected to someone, like I want to tell them everything.
Right.
So like I'll text you all day long if I text someone.
Right.
So I just don't.
What?
I started saying something. Oh,
didn't follow.
the people on playing the game
right,
and having
right.
them do you it like it's just
Oh,
too
right,
many
right.
people.
Yeah.
Like my point being, I don't even text people because I get overwhelmed with how often I'm supposed to respond to people and how often people respond to me.
Right.
It freaks me out.
Yeah.
You've just changed in general, though, where you used to live and communicate through your devices, multiple devices that
Yeah.
fucking gave you MS. And now you're more mindful and thoughtful, and now you like to talk to people and look them in the eye and have real feelings and conversations. And I mean, you're reconnected to the world, basically.
Yeah, I reconnected to the world when everyone else was checking out.
Yeah.
So it's neat.
Good for you. It's an advantage
It's like
then.
being in the post-apocalyptic.
It's funny. Pick one. Is it Mad Max? Is it Blade Runner? What kind of Terminator?
No. Shit. What's the one with Will Smith in it? No,
Oh, where he has
I
the
Am
dog?
Legend?
Yeah.
Independence Day.
Oh, Independent.
Is Will Smith not in that one? I don't
No,
think.
no, of
No, he
course
was.
he is. Yeah.
Vince D'Onofrio. It's who I
Men in
always
Black.
think. That's the one.
Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah.
That was a long road. All right, so we're talking about.
Named almost every Will Smith movie out there.
You're right about one thing, right? It's a lot of mouths to feed.
That's the one.
Okay, all right, I gotcha. Yeah, that was Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black, I
Yep.
believe.
Mhm. Well, that's how I feel the world is sometimes now. So I look at people and I'm like, your face doesn't fit you.
Right.
Oh, well, that's what you were saying yesterday with the medium thing about how like, oh, everyone's fitting into these things, but you're into categories, but you're seeing through that. Is that what?
No, and I watched that again too. That's actually not what I was saying. My point is that yeah, if you're like an overlord, like someone we know, like you could divide people based on their card, whatever.
Right.
But if you're not, and if you're just going along to go with the flow, like your magnet draws to whoever has a similar
Naturally.
Yeah. So that's
That's the attraction, magnetism, rules of attraction, all that stuff.
yeah,
Vibrations.
yeah, that's all. So if you want to pick it apart and be like, I have a heart, I need to find a heart, like, okay, accept that in the bigger scheme of things. Like, you might need something that causes friction with a heart, not a matching heart.
Absolutely.
But you don't know that. So if
That's
you are
interesting.
trying to over control like what you find and what you come into contact with, and like you get really rigid and you miss out on the things that actually might create friction that allows you to be creative or
Absolutely.
grow
or make you a better person. I mean,
Yeah.
if everyone was in the same kind of car at a Cars and Coffee, like it'd be a boring ass meet.
I totally agree, and
Yeah.
I think that just that your whole outlook there is really, really
Yeah,
solid.
I like that.
Well, that's my goal is transferring to people
Yeah.
whose faces match their body.
Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
God, that's crazy.
Sugar in water.
That was pretty good.
I used to love that character. Is one of my all-time favorite movie characters. He is just so good with his physical discomfort and trying to look comfortable and everything, just out of his own skin.
Have you guys seen Shape of Water?
No.
Oh,
Let's talk about it.
So good.
What is it?
It's such a good film.
Is it Guillermo del Toro?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he's a storyteller, all right.
It's supposed to be dark and like creepy, but
It
really
is. It's
thoughtful.
got this weird like 1960s almost Mad Men vibe to it.
We like
but,
that.
But it's
Oh,
like
I
also
know.
like a sci-fi kind of a movie. This woman who works at this lab falls in love with a sea creature. And that's
Whoa.
stay with me.
Okay.
Like I mean, I
Sure.
won't give it away,
Why
but
not?
it's pretty fantastic. Just the way he tells the story and like the mood he sets, and yeah, it's getting a lot of Oscar buzz and fantastic film. I didn't think I would like it because a friend of mine recommended it to me after he had seen the screener and was like, "Oh, mate, you gotta watch this film." I was like, "All right, what's the premise?" Lady falls in love with sea monster. Shit, I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
It's the Walrus. It's the Kevin Smith Walrus movie. You know what
I
mean?
watched it and was just blown away. Blown away. It's really good.
Wow.
So I recommend that. I'm
That's
normally
awesome.
a documentary guy, but that one was.
I'm happy to
was-
hear that,
was
though.
good.
I really wasn't sure because I'd seen similar.
It's good. I think you'll like it. I've yet to run across someone that saw it and was like, "What the fuck?" Like everyone has loved it.
Okay.
Well, and he's a hell of a storyteller.
He is. He is. He has a gift.
Filmmaker.
He has a gift.
Did you see? You probably did. Pi, Life of Pi, or whatever.
I did. Yeah.
Was that? Did you? Is that even him? It's
I don't
not him,
think
right?
so.
For some reason, I always put it up there with.
I think it's someone foreign.
Pan's Labyrinth for whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen Life of Pi, but it's been recommended to me several times lately, and I figured we seem to have similar taste. I was
Yeah.
going to see
Yeah.
what your
That's a
take
good
was.
one. Like I like to.
It's Slumdog's in that, right? The little kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's good. It's really.
Sorry, Slumdog. I don't know your real name.
Yeah.
Forgive me. He's a
Turn
fabulous
around
actor.
and shut
And
your
that-
curry
He's
hole.
a great. Isn't he the kid from Chappie?
Oh, he might be. I was thinking of that Bad Words movie.
Yeah, I know. You
I
just went.
just wanted to clarify so I didn't sound like a racist.
It was pretty bad. Yeah, no, that was Jason Bateman in the Bad Words movie.
I was like, oh my god.
That's another
Did you ever
movie
see
you should
Bad
watch.
Words?
No.
Okay, well, it's not the best movie in the world, but holy crap, it's one of the funniest I've ever seen.
I'll add that to the list.
It's one
and
of the-
2
yeah.
months from now, I'll be like, oh, cool. Nicole's not racist.
You're gonna forget all about my thing, and you're gonna get that one within the first 5 minutes.
All right, cool.
His delivery is so Good.
Anyway, Slumdogs and pie,
Yeah,
and I wanted to
okay.
get your opinion on pie.
Sweet. Yeah, that's good. I like apple best.
Really? Versus pecan.
Key lime. Who fucking likes key lime pie? That shit is so gross.
I think my grandfather might. I think old people.
You had a friend that liked it, and like
Well, if
was
you were
really
going to tell me
specific
you
about
liked it, this podcast was
Over.
over.
I'll go one
son.
further. I don't
Yeah.
like it for a lot of reasons. Let's just say that. And then for anyone who gets it, they'll get it, and for anyone who doesn't, that's okay too.
All right, cool.
That my mother lives in the Keys, and we don't get along.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Shouldn't say that. We get along great when we're not in each other's lives.
That's like my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the surviving
Since I cut
the
him
sur-
out,
the
we've
s-
been
yeah.
swimming
Then we're great. So the surviving
swimmingly.
parent.
We
but,
have
but,
way more to
but
talk
you lost-
about.
It is a surviving.
You
parent
lost
thing.
your mom a long time ago too. So what's?
Like
you-
fairly recently, like 3 or 4 years ago, probably.
oh, okay.
Yeah, fairly recently.
Were your parents together when your mom passed?
They were. They shouldn't have been, but they were.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those like I don't think they were happily married for quite some time, but they were like this late in the game, why get divorced? And my dad, he's just not a. I love him. He's my dad, but he's not the greatest person in the world,
Well, that's the same thing.
I was a mama's boy.
I love my mom, but same thing. We don't really see eye to eye on like anything.
Yeah, it's weird. So now I'm kind of like, family wise, like I've got my sisters, but like, yeah, it's
How many
weird.
sisters?
2. I have an older one and a younger one.
Are they close to you? Geographically close to you, or are they spread out?
Geographically, no. My little sister's still in Dallas, and my older sister lives in Albuquerque.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's nice.
it is.
I
I mean,
mean, you can fly anywhere, so they're all nice places to
I
visit.
can, so I have like no excuse to not be like, hey, I haven't seen you in a year. What's up?
Well, and
Like,
I
oh,
mean,
shit.
Albuquerque's a
Like,
beautiful town too. I mean, there's
It is,
some
it's
cool
cool.
shit to see in Albuquerque.
Absolutely. And if you're into meth, like,
Mr. White.
I can't think of a better
Yo,
place
bitch.
to go. Yeah.
Mr. White.
Another fantastic show. I love Breaking
man.
Bad. I
That
couldn't
was
get
a
into
good
Better
job.
Call Saul though. I couldn't get into that.
How far did you try? How deep did you go?
1 season deep, baby.
Oh, okay. So you went in the whole season.
I would consider that balls deep as
That's
far
balls
as like,
deep.
yeah.
I
And
don't know what
Still
that
wasn't
term
feeling
means.
it, so I pulled out.
Was it? Well, what did you like about Breaking Bad? Because for me, it was the storytelling, and I
storytelling,
find the
dude.
storytelling very similar.
Again, you're like completing my sentences. It's weird.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it's a storytelling. Yeah, and I didn't realize that that's Vince Gilligan, like X Files.
What?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I
realize
didn't know
that
X Files.
connection.
Yeah, I
It
think
is,
Vince
yeah.
Gilligan is the same guy that did X Files, so
Yeah.
that's Breaking Bad. So I'm like, oh well, that makes sense because X Files is pretty fantastic too.
When we used to have to go to Comic-Con every year for your work, we ended up at.
I'm sorry.
We used to.
Me too.
We used to have to go for. It wasn't. I mean, it was fun, but not fun.
Right.
But we used to always have to go to all of the publicity stuff for her. So all of the parties, all of the interviews, all of
Right.
the, and I think it was Entertainment Weekly. Somehow, one of these things, they're all in kind of like hotel rooms and
Right.
suites and shit all over the town.
Right.
Nothing's actually at the Comic-Con anymore. But we sort of got accidentally looped into a conversation with Yo Bitch and Vince
Oh,
Gilligan.
Aaron Paul.
They
Yeah.
were doing an interview after the people I was shepherding around Comic-Con,
okay,
so
cool.
they were in line with us waiting to be interviewed.
Oh,
and
okay, cool.
I didn't know who they were,
Right.
and they talked to you forever.
Yeah, well, and then Cordry and Paul Scheer obviously was who they were actually wanted to talk to, but yeah, we were in the middle of a conversation for a while before I realized, like, I knew who Aaron Paul was obviously, but I didn't realize that I'm having like a full geek out nerd conversation, like I'm having like a nerdist. I don't even remember about what, but like movies and car nerd stuff.
Not the show, not like fandom.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
no,
right.
not Breaking
Not-
Bad at all. I
yeah.
had no idea it was. It's the long story. I had no idea it was Vince Gilligan.
Shut up.
Yeah, and we're just talking. I didn't know what he
that's
looked
so
like at
cool.
the time. It was sort of on the newer.
Right.
I mean, Breaking Bad was probably like a big ass deal, but it wasn't over.
Right.
You know. And then later that same night, George R.R. Martin, is that the right name?
Yeah.
The Game of Thrones fella.
I've never seen an episode of Game of
Me
Thrones.
neither,
that.
but
Never
me
have.
neither. But
Again.
same exact situation where all of a sudden you're at a party talking to
Yeah.
a guy who looks like Santa Claus that you think is like, are you supposed to be here?
Right.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
And then you're like, do you know who you were just talking to? I'm like, I have no idea, but that guy was pretty cool. He was drunk, you know, or whatever. You know, he wasn't, but I'm just.
Some of these
It's
shows
weird how it
surprise me
works.
though. Like Walking Dead. Like I have a friend that's super into Walking Dead.
Do you watch it?
And he was like, dude, watch an episode with me. You'll get it.
Really?
It was fucking zombies
Yeah.
So you
chasing
don't get
people
it, right?
around. I don't get it
Yeah,
at
me
all.
neither.
It was the weirdest thing. I was like, this is exactly what you would think it's about. And like, I still don't get it. He's like, "Oh, dude, like you don't want to DVR this?" I was like, "No."
Okay, so here's my question
don't
though.
understand
Did
it.
you see Lost?
No. I
Okay.
wasn't a Lost person.
Okay.
No.
But did you ever see Lost? Because I wasn't a Lost person either, and then I saw one episode and I did get.
Well, I mean,
fucking
I
hooked.
understand it. Like, I didn't want to commit the time to like go start it again.
Gotcha.
You know, but I understand the Lost thing.
Okay.
Like, I do get that. I know there was like brilliant writing and everything.
Yeah,
else.
good
And,
content.
Like, yeah, exactly.
To
but
me,
like,
there's layers, like very obvious layers to that storytelling in those that
right.
that
in
context.
in
But
Walking
in
Dead
Walking
just
Dead,
seems
it's like
one dimensional as
you're all crossing guards that don't have arms. Like I don't
It's so weird.
get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Thank God there's comedians in cars getting coffee that I can watch instead.
What's your favorite episode? Do you
Comedians
have
in
one?
cars getting coffee. Man, there's so many different ones. It's like,
Did you see the Seinfeld one before though, where he's the Seinfeld one, the Jay Leno one?
oh yeah, I love
Right,
that.
that's
Where
a
he's in the
good
Gemund. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's
Just
fantastic.
as a Porsche fan. that was pretty
Oh, that one's fantastic. They're all good, and I think Jerry does a really good job of picking cars that kind of like embody the personality of who
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, I feel like that's an underrated but incredibly important piece of the show.
I put it up there with Paul Schaefer and the music, you know,
Yeah.
the play out music.
Yeah,
of, like,
absolutely.
to
Yeah, he's
somebody
just on
specifically.
some different level, and yeah, he's got a knack, man.
And whether sometimes they're by accident. Like he took Seth Meyers, I think it was, in the 73 RS.
yes,
And Seth Meyers happened to be born in 73. And
Right.
he didn't know
Didn't
that
even know it.
until,
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean?
right.
So it's there's stuff like that. It's kind of almost accidental perfect.
and you used to have a DeLorean. How
I used to
hard?
have a couple DeLoreans, yeah.
How hard were you laughing when it broke down?
You know what's funny?
It's like,
is
oh,
so
this
funny.
is authentic
I would
to
love-
a T.
I would love to jump on this bandwagon, except
Was yours dependable?
it was beyond dependable.
Really?
It never broke down. And we had it for 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Never broke down. Now,
Really?
luckily, I had a best friend in Danny Botkin from DeLorean Motor
Well,
Center
that
who was
helps.
who
That
was
kinda
keeping it.
helps. Yeah.
But he wasn't making me go bankrupt by keeping it running.
Wow.
It was like, oh,
Surprising.
we did a bunch of stuff up first, so
Right.
that all the
That's
shit
what I
that
do,
goes
too.
was
Yeah,
new.
yeah, yeah.
You know, the coolant stuff, all of the
Get rid of all the
relays,
previous owners.
anything electrical, anything
shortcomings.
coolant, anything like anything that can go. Yeah, yeah, and anything custom, obviously. Before we cut it up and made it into a time machine.
That's all right.
But yeah, it was incredibly reliable.
You can always go back and undo it, you know. Dude, I was this
I don't
close.
get it. I don't understand what you mean.
I
don't
was
understand
this
the
close
reference.
to getting a DeLorean from Turo. It's like, do you know what Turo is?
The rental,
Yeah.
it's a rental app, right?
There's
It's
a
like
guy-
Airbnb.
Yeah, but for cars. And there's a guy that legit has a DeLorean. But I didn't want to be the guy that wreck it. Like that would be my luck. I'd be, sitting in
I
traffic.
didn't want to be the
on
guy to drive it.
PCH. Oh, I would love to drive it. I didn't
Have you
want to
ever
be
driven
the
one?
I have not. No.
Oh, okay.
Never have. I've come close to buying one, but I never have driven one.
It's an experience. I mean,
I heard it's
they're
hot as hell.
yeah, I guess it can
Like you
be.
cook inside.
It can. There's very small windows and not the best
Is there
ventilation.
no
There's-
AC?
There
don't
is,
remember.
but there's not a lot of ventilation. What does Seinfeld say? Again, we're referencing comedians in cars left and right, but it's the Jim Carrey one. He's like, it's kind of like a wet dog just panting on you or something like
Right.
that. Like
Well, you're cooking in a stainless steel oven essentially on
a
wheels.
stainless steel oven with windows that don't go down.
Right, you
and
got the
very
little
bad
tiny window.
ventilation.
I mean, can you even get like a drink through it? I don't think you can.
You couldn't get a drink through it. No, I mean you'd have to turn it sideways.
And then it'll spill out.
Yeah,
So what
but you
good
can
is
open the
that?
door. Luckily,
Holy
which is
shit.
nice.
That sounds like so much work.
We went to some car show and some guy, I think maybe a new car that has the gull wings or whatever, but like
I think it
pulled
was Mercedes.
into the smallest place, like clearly just to make a point of like, oh no, because
He pulled in between two other cars, and you know how wide the SLS
Yeah, yeah.
Mercedes
Oh,
is
yeah, for
anyway.
sure, yeah.
So it's already almost a spot wide, and then it was between two other really tight Porsches, and was like, oh yeah, these guys can't get out. I knew they could because I
Right.
knew what they were going to do, but
Right.
the gull wing doors. Is that what
Right.
you're going to say? Sorry,
Yeah.
I already stepped on you. Go ahead.
no,
And then they opened the door. I'm sorry. What a dick.
I would talk for an hour about that,
I'm sorry.
but like it was just so funny to watch. Like people think they're putting one over on you, and it's like we get it.
What's funny to me is the concept of a DeLorean only car show because they all look the freaking same.
Yep.
Like, what? I mean,
I've been to
and then
I've been to a lot of them.
and then the poor guy that decided to be an individual and paint his shit red gets made fun of the whole time.
The
How
whole
dare
time.
you do
Ruined.
that? Like, oh, you ruined your car.
99
Like,
great cars and yours.
It's so weird.
Yep.
I don't get it. Like at least with VWs and Porsches, like there's different colors to look at. Like
It's funny. It's people customize them all too. There are very few like fully stock DeLoreans, but
Right.
this stuff is all like they're all the same color, they're all the same shape.
Right.
These are things that you can't change.
Right.
So some people have ground effects or a shift knob or whatever the heck.
Right.
You're right. They're all the same.
It's so funny. Did you ever get in the wrong one? Leaving
Well,
a meet?
no, never had that. But
Yours looked different.
they were
enough
hard
'cause
to.
It was
Yeah, they were
a time machine.
Right.
Yeah, that and you know how it is with your brain.
Oh, of course.
You ever get in the wrong car?
No, but mine looked different from everyone else's.
Ouch.
Snap.
No, but you know
Well,
what I
you don't
mean.
have
Like,
that problem anymore with your Porsche now.
no,
You'll never get in the wrong yellow car with gumballs on it. I love that car. I think it's
Thanks,
kick-ass.
man.
Yeah, dude. It's super
That means
cool.
so much because it's not a special car on Porsche paperwork. Do you know what I mean? People ask us all the time. So what? What's the deal? Tell me what's the deal with this car? Because obviously they think it's like a big deal.
Apparently, neither is mine. I've been told that the T5B is like the least desirable. I don't care.
I have someone
cares?
you should go to breakfast with because he will tell you the worst car, the worst year, the worst
Yeah,
color.
it's so funny.
But he has one.
Really,
Yeah, he'll tell you all about it.
I had a 996 turbo for a while. That was a cool car.
That's a great car.
It was fast. It was modded to the hilt.
What year?
01.
Cool.
Yeah.
Early. That's the first year, right? Was it the first year of the turbo?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know my water cooled Porsches that well.
Rude.
But was that a snobbish comment?
No, it's
No,
fine.
I
someday we'll have a collection of air too. But as far as having one car that can do everything we need it to, it's got to be
Oh, dude, if I was
like a
stop and go
997 right now.
traffic all the time, you better believe I'd be rocking a water cooled one probably. But I like to work on my stuff.
Yeah.
And like plugging up a laptop and it's just weird.
Yeah.
I can't get with it.
You mean for tuning and all that stuff?
Yeah,
you
or
can't-
for anything, for like troubleshooting. Like, I'm like a points in, kind of a guy. Like I like to
If
get
it
in there
breaks
with
down,
a
you can
feeler
fix it.
gauge. Absolutely, I can at least limp the thing home.
Yep.
Like I'm a screwdriver and 13 millimeter wrench kind of guy.
Love it.
Coming from Volkswagens, but it's a very natural progression. It's weird, like coming from Volkswagens into Porsches. Early Porsches, they're almost the same. Like everything's a little different, but the concept is the same.
It's funny too. They're different because of evolution, though.
Yeah,
Not
totally.
because of we
Totally.
just did this differently.
Yeah, it's almost like there was
this
a-
back then, and it's like
yeah,
this now,
it's
and
almost
it'll be
like
this.
in 1950 or whatever. There's a timeline that just kind of branches off, and Volkswagen went one way in the same sort of general direction, and Porsche went another, and everything on a Porsche is just a little more refined.
Yeah.
And I will say the parts, like the aftermarket parts for Porsches, fit so much better. Like,
Really?
They're
Than
more
VWs?
expensive, but the VW parts aftermarket is terrible.
Is that because the market is so saturated? And I don't mean maybe saturated isn't the word, but it's very crowded.
I think it's because a lot of VW people are cheap, like not to be
Okay.
dickish, but a Volkswagen person isn't going to pay X amount of dollars for an ignition coil.
So
whereas
the
a
person
Porsche
who makes
person
that,
will.
so the person who makes that product, the tolerances aren't the same as they
Oh
would
my
have been
gosh,
or whatever.
there's
That's what you're saying.
there's a lot of Chinese parts that are in the VW aftermarket, and they're terrible. They don't fit. You got to modify them, cut them, grind them to get them to work. And everything I bought from Stoddard, Porsche parts is fit perfect.
Wow.
It's as good as, if not better than the original parts.
Nice commercial.
It's fantastic. Well, I think they sponsor that VW toy and lit show that's going to be happening in March. I don't know if I'm going to come out for that or not, but I'll be here for Lufka.
Is that
for
different
sure.
than the Porsche one? The Porsche toy?
No, it's
the same
the same thing.
At
Yeah,
the-
it's
at the-
Volkswagen and
at
Porsche.
the airport?
It's the airport Hilton, I think,
We
or
went to that
LAX
one
Hilton.
Yeah,
before,
we
right?
go to that
Yeah.
one every year.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see you then too.
Yeah. If I can swing that, I wasn't planning on coming to the Porsche Effect thing, so this might kind
One
of
or the
trump that trip or whatever. But if I come out, I'll let you guys know. But I'm definitely coming out for Lufka Cool. That looks like such a kick-ass show.
I was going to say, with all your traveling and parts buying and everything,
it looks so much
if there's
fun.
one to trade, I would say you should come for the Luftgekühlt so that you can have all the eye candy since
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
go shop for parts all the time.
Now, you guys going to road trip up to Rensport?
Maybe.
I
I
think
don't know.
that's
I
in
leave
September.
all this decision making to the driver.
The truth is, we sort of talked about it a little bit yesterday. We tend to, if everyone zigs, we zag.
Right.
So maybe not. I don't know. We've been invited by a couple different people already. I think we even have a place to stay if we want to go. So it's not like, I'm not trying to be a dicks about it. It's just a matter of we know our own energy and our own limitations. And when everyone else gets really excited about something, that wears us the fuck out.
I'm sure.
It's a weird thing.
Well, it's funny because like certain trends and stuff, it seems like, something cool will happen, and then it gets played out, and then something else happens.
For sure.
And I feel like that's what's going on with like different cars and coffees, and like the Irvine one was the big shit for a while, and then that kind of died
first
out or
one.
whatever. Yeah, and now it's like Trancas.
Yeah.
And
Trancas is huge. We don't even go to Trancas anymore because it got huge.
And that's what I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday about. He's like, I don't even bother going to Trancas anymore because if you're not there by 4 a.m.,
4:30, yeah.
you're not going to get a fucking parking spot. It's like, that's crazy.
And that's not fun.
And he's like, but you know what? Wait a couple months, there'll be a new hot shit spot
Yeah.
that everybody's going to go, and then that'll blow up and get. So hopefully, Lifka Cool, stays cool and kind of low
that's
key
not
for a
going
little
in.
bit. I hope
If it's
not.
once a year, even the Pelican ones are quarterly,
Right.
and those get bigger and bigger.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's not every freaking week or every month.
I think it's just cool that there's
Saturation.
like this resurgence in this younger crowd that's getting into the Porsches. There's kind of this shying away from the old school philosophy of, numbers matching this and has to be, trailer it to the car show. And dude,
Do you
everyone
think
our
that-
age.
what do you think is the driving force behind that? Do you?
Well, for one, I think all these old timers are dying off.
Well, all right, that's natural.
We talk but with
You're right.
but
You're right, of
with-
course.
But with them dying off, so does that train of thought. Like we touched on dead guy cars.
And racism, that goes away too, right?
Absolutely. See, win-win. We get the cool cars, and nobody's racist anymore.
Fabulous, thank
But
God.
except for her with Indian people.
Well, that-
But
Because of a movie.
but so that's what's really cool is you've got this new crop of guys coming up that are our age. I think people like our age are coming into, maybe the financial means to jump into these cars. I'm certainly not made of money, but I hustled enough and bought and sold and fixed up so many cars to work my way up from Volkswagens to this 356.
That you have a 356
yeah, and
now.
it's kind of cool. I'm digging it, and I think there's a lot of guys in my in the same boat. So I think that and we like to drive our cars.
Do you think
I'm not a trailer queen kind of guy? Like we call those cars trailer queens. Like what fun is that? You've spent all of this money, time, and effort, perfecting this car just to drive it on an enclosed trailer and then trailer to the show. Like what fun is that? Like it just boggles my mind. I want to drive my car. I wear my rock chips with pride.
That's what I
Don't
was going to
care.
say. Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for at it.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, there are different ways to come at it.
Screw the clear bra, man. Just give me the rock chips. I don't care.
We were at a that was actually a big concourse in Palm Springs, like
Oh,
just
yeah,
a couple
I saw,
weeks ago.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. Yeah,
Yeah, like beautiful location,
Yeah,
right? Like on the
yeah,
golf
for
course
sure.
and everything.
Yeah.
And it was fabulous. And we don't do a tremendous amount of PCA events, even though we love the PCA. There's so much shit to do. We used to do so many, and now it's just keep getting invited to stuff. And
I
anyway,
felt bad because I actually let my membership lapse. I did, but I do the 356 registry now.
Oh, okay.
And it's fantastic. I love it. But I can't get to the events. I mean, it's like you said, there's so many. It's like you're overwhelmed. And especially here, I can imagine here how many. I mean, there's
That's
got to be
just
something
it.
going on every freaking weekend here.
There is for sure because there's so many different regions and everything.
Right.
So we tend to at least do the concours. Try to do the concours at least.
Right.
And so that's why we were in Palm Springs. But what I'm getting to was fundamentally there are different ways to come at this. And we got introduced to somebody we'd never met who was new to the club, new to Porsche ownership, and new to talking to people apparently. That's he had a
Is there a
lot.
little bit of social awkward?
Yeah, but not in the I'm awkward with talking to you.
which I'm the
because he
queen
was-
of. So like,
Really?
everyone now that I'm
Being socially awkward. You don't strike me as that type at all.
Thank you. I feel like I am now.
Well,
like
you
I'm
should
in a
not feel that way.
different world, but this guy was another level.
So there were just questions left and right, and the answers were not satisfactory. And first of all, we had our car is filthy, right? Because we don't. It's not that we don't wash it because
You actually drive it.
Yeah. Also, just the personality of the car is sort of more Herbie. It's more of the.
Yeah.
It's
It's gritty.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
and the car was also windows out resprayed like less than 2 years ago. So
Right.
it looks like an M&M when it's clean.
Right.
So anyway, but the gist of it was this guy really couldn't understand where we were coming from, and he kept asking questions that really would have benefited him. He was just asking the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
And the gist of it was he had just bought a brand new GT3, gorgeous. I
Right.
mean, fucking hot car, 912, brand new. And he was telling us why he got. I said, "Oh, did you get one of the stick ones, or did you get
Right.
PDK?"
PDK, yeah.
Standard question for a
Yeah,
991 owner, right?
Yeah,
because
I would
it's
say that's
finally-
relevant. Yeah, it's back in the market.
Well, I was an idiot for asking this question. And the reason that it's a PDK and not a stick is because he needs his right hand free for his cell phone so he can conduct his business. And he's like, it's not like I'm downshifting or anything. I'll just put it in neutral and hit the brakes and whatever. And I said, okay, well, then we are clearly coming at this from a fundamentally different place.
Two schools of thought.
We have ripped every amount of electronics out of our car
absolutely.
that we can.
Yeah.
And there's no radio, there's no PCM, there's no navigation, there's nothing. It's a steering wheel, a shifter, and 2 seats.
Yep.
Which is how we want it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's capturing the old with some new.
Right.
This guy really couldn't fathom what we were talking about or why we would do that. It affects the resale. There's all these different reasons he had. And then he left, and we kind of just had a chuckle of what an interesting experience that was. People are different. Nothing wrong with people are different. There's nothing wrong with this man. This man was very nice. He was very polite.
Right.
I seriously, nothing. And then he came back, and he's like, so tell me about your what happened to your emblem? And I was like, what? The badge on your hood, your little Porsche crest.
Right.
What happened to your crest? It's behind you. It's on the shelf there. We put one of the old-fashioned early lightweight stickers on because our friend fucking designed it and did the artwork for it. So I said, well, we took it off. And he's like, well, no, but why? Like, was it not? Did it not have it when you got the car, or did you? And I was like, no, I took it off and I put the sticker on. Yeah, but where is it? I don't understand. And I was like, I literally finally eventually I go, I don't understand what the question is. Do you want it? It's on a shelf at home. Like,
do you need one?
That's what I was. You just bought a brand new car, and it should have a sticker as well.
Right,
Doesn't it? Or maybe the only RS does. I don't know. But
how much weight do you really save with just a sticker?
That's what I say. He goes, but why did you do it? And I said, well, the whole car. If you look at the whole car, it's kind of got a theme to it.
Right.
And that's part of it.
Function over form.
And I said, like it's lightweight for racing, all the instant. He goes, but how much weight do you really lose from the crest? And I was like, we're just coming at it from different
lost
places.
on him.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But when you were talking about earlier about, all right, you can keep them clean, you can polish them, you can do whatever.
That guy will be dead soon. Don't worry.
The guy was awesome. I actually hope I meet him again so that
if
I can
you're
talk
out
to
there
him.
listening, I don't know.
But it was such a funny,
You
weird,
live a
odd.
long and happy life with your.
You had to be there for the setup of it. The
I would have loved to have been a fly on
the Concord.
on the car.
You saw all the cars on the grass.
I did.
And then ours was a little bit to the side, which we had been placed that way by the person, the chair of the event, Jose, who we love.
Did they say, you're over there?
No, it was one of those. He knows us so well. He's one of the Breakfast Clubbers. He knows
cool.
us so well that he's like, all right, well, sometimes they just tuck her out and they got to go.
Right.
So like they give us easy exit.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
That's nice.
And
that's
a
almost
beautiful
like
place on the
special
lawn.
treatment.
It's
fully
fully special treatment.
Some of the guys
That's
that
awesome.
were around are like good. Most of the guys are good humans, but like they really look out for you.
That's that's like a misconception though with the Porsche crowd. It's like, oh, these guys are all pricks, blah blah blah. Dude, everyone that I've met so far has been nothing but helpful, nothing but nice. Excluding badge guy, it sounds like. No. I'm kidding.
Well, so that's what I say. The end of that was, so we had the car set up over there. It was already a little bit to the side, and then we had our little folding chairs that we put like down by the lake.
Right.
So we're like 75, 100 feet away from the car because we don't want to sit by the car and talk about the car all day. We want to look at the water and the birds and the people playing golf in the distance and the mountains and the clouds.
Yeah.
We're enjoying everything, the whole picture.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those, like, he kept coming over. Our picture should have had a fishing pole. Like, you know what I mean? We're just two people doing their own thing. And he just kept, so what about them? It was one of those where it was just very, very interesting and enjoyable. And we've all got a million stories like that. There was nothing wrong with this guy. It just, for some reason, that came to mind when you were.
There's one at every show, though. There's one at every show.
And if there isn't, then it's got to be you, right? Because we all are that guy sometimes.
Yeah, but I at least internalize my shit.
But that's my point, though. We all think we do. Do we really? Or are we sometimes that guy?
Maybe. I don't know.
I
think I'm pretty normal.
I want to have the awareness because I don't want to give someone else the experience that I got.
You know what? I can't wear cargo shorts to Cars and Coffee anymore thanks to Spike Ferriston because he makes fun of those people all the time. What's wrong with cargo shorts? If I see Spike tonight, I'm going to ask him, what is your thing with cargo shorts?
I would have to assume, I don't think there's anything wrong with him, but maybe his point is like, hey, you're a big boy. Put your big boy pants on. Is that what it is?
I'll be wearing big boy pants tonight.
Oh, boy.
He's got little kids. I bet that
No
has
cargo
something to do
shorts
with
for me.
it.
Maybe
And
that's
like
what
all
it
the
is.
pockets just make you look like a hobo.
from a car guy standpoint, you
Yeah.
got a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Moving around, like if you've got stuff in your pockets,
Maybe that's
there's
what
a
it
lot
is.
of shit moving
Walking
around
in
that
between cars.
and it's not moving with your body. It's all just kind of whatever.
That could be.
So as a if I had some cars that were worth what some of the cars in his collection are,
Maybe that's
I
what
might
it is.
think about that. Especially if you're sitting up at Malibu Kitchen and you watch every jabroni pull in with their park distance controller and everything else, and almost slamming into
for
$1 million Ferraris and $2 million Porsches and everything.
Crazy. I went there last night. Nobody was there, obviously, but I went there just to cross it off the
Did
bucket
you see
list.
Bill?
Bill was there. I didn't bother him, but yeah, he was there. I think they were like kind of closing. I was there at like 5:30, and I think they closed at
that's late,
6.
yeah.
So yeah,
Putting
It's got to
everything
be
away.
toward the end.
grabbed a quick sandwich and
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
No cars, nothing.
not really. It was a Fiat 124 in the parking lot. I don't think they were there for any special reason.
That's awesome.
It was cool though. It was neat to see.
And Matt Fair is there a lot these days. You said you did his podcast?
I did his podcast after we released the Bug documentary.
Oh, cool.
Matt's a good dude. I like his podcast too.
We are from the same area, and
cool.
we've never met. We've never talked. I don't know. He's always seemed very familiar to me, but he's on television and YouTube and stuff. So, you know what I mean? I was chalked it up with that. But we're from the same area in Fairfield County, Connecticut.
No way.
Yeah, it's
That's
weird.
crazy.
I mean, grew up completely different upbringings, I'm sure, but I would love to at least talk to him at some. I hope I get to meet him at some point. And
I'm
shoot
sure
the
you
shit.
will. You definitely run in the same circles. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's weird. There's like the whole, the 6 degrees of separation. It's more like 2 with car people. I mean, everyone is so interconnected.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. So it's only a matter of time. I'm sure I'll run into a bunch of people tonight that I'll know or have mutual friends of or whatever else. It's a neat circle though. I like it.
I'm so excited for you to be able to go to that tonight, and I hope that you come back and report back and all that stuff.
Oh, I will
and
for
all
sure.
that stuff.
Take lots of pictures.
I could talk to you forever, but we're over an hour again on take 2, and we have audio this time and everything. I would say let's
Save
put a
something
pin
for
in
next
it.
time.
Yeah, and you're coming back in a couple months. Please come back.
Dude, absolutely.
Okay.
I would love to.
Okay.
You're awesome. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that we're finally doing this in person.
Yeah, it was cool, man.
Same.
I dig talking to people that are into the same stuff and getting different perspectives on things. It's neat.
It'll be interesting to go back and watch this, and it'll be a total surprise for what we talked about, because I don't remember which one is which.
I know, right?
I don't know about
Like,
you
which
guys.
one did we talk about? No, it's cool, man. I'm glad it all worked out, and the timing was uncanny. And yeah, keep in touch. Give me a follow on Instagram if you want. It's VDubber for life.
That's
and,
right.
I got all kinds of cool traveling pics and Porsche pics and Volkswagen pics,
I
and
can't
Your
wait to
page
follow
is
you.
awesome.
all
Yeah.
kinds of
The
all kinds of cool
photography's
stuff.
great.
Well,
And
thanks, man.
I think yours kind of shows sort of like us, which it's the journey. Like this is I'm documenting my travels and my trips and
It's
my
so
adventures.
weird, and we talk about that in the VW documentary. Like, I love cars, but I think at the end of the day, it's really the people that you really want to connect with. The car is just sort of the vehicle, no pun intended, to get you to these different connections and people and networks and whatever else.
We definitely feel the same.
I
about
really
that.
enjoy it. I think it's cool.
Dude, come back.
I will.
All right, so not much Ryan's, but that was really awesome car talk.
Yeah.
I love you. All right, Life with the Ryans. We will be back. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon.
Peace.